What planet are these people living on? What world do they reside in? What can possibly be going through their mind when coming up with these lists? Boy Room, Kevin Durant's media company, puts out a top 5 most marketable WNBA players entering this season list.
Something dangerous is happening inside the WNBA right now. And if you are a sports fan paying attention, you already feel it. Because for the last several months, a war has been quietly building behind the scenes. A war between what the data is screaming and what the league desperately wants you to believe. And this week, that war finally exploded into the open in the most public and humiliating way possible for the people running women's basketball.
Caitlin Clark, not only is she not number 1 on this list, she's not even number 2 on this list. If you live in the real world, if you reside in reality, if your head isn't in the clouds, if you aren't off a little bit.
The WNBA just released a marketability ranking, and Caitlin Clark was not number 1. Let that sink in for exactly 1 second. The woman who single-handedly transformed a struggling league into a national obsession. The woman who sold out every arena she walked into. The woman whose jersey outsold every other player combined. The woman who forced a $2.2 billion television deal into existence simply by showing up and playing basketball. That woman was not ranked number 1 in marketability by her own league. And the moment fans saw that list, everything blew up. If you think this conversation matters, drop a comment right now and tell me, do you believe this ranking was honest or agenda-driven? Because I am reading every single one. Because to millions of sports fans across the country, this was not just a bad ranking. This felt personal. This felt calculated. This felt like an organization actively trying to rewrite reality in front of an audience that watches the actual numbers every single day. And sports fans, real sports fans, absolutely despise being lied to. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the WNBA was fighting for relevance. Big games came and went without national attention. Generational talents came and went without mainstream recognition. The league had passionate fans but consistently failed to break through into the broader American sports conversation in any meaningful way. Then Caitlin Clark stepped onto a professional court for the first time, and overnight the entire landscape shifted. Sold-out arenas in cities that had never sold out before. Record-breaking television ratings that shocked network executives. Celebrity appearances at games that had never attracted celebrity attention before. Endorsement deals that rewrote what was possible for women's athletes. Viral highlights that dominated social media for days at a time. Millions of people who had never watched a single WNBA game in their entire lives suddenly setting reminders, buying tickets, and emotionally investing themselves in women's basketball for the first time. That is not a small thing. That is a revolution. And yet the league looked at all of that undeniable historic evidence and decided someone else deserved the number 1 marketability spot because we are just getting started. Comment sections exploded within minutes of the ranking dropping. Twitter erupted into chaos. YouTube channels began posting reaction videos within hours. Sports radio shows spent entire programs debating one question that kept coming up over and over again from fans across every demographic and every platform. How is Caitlin Clark not number 1? Now let us be completely clear about something important. Nobody is arguing that other stars in this league are not talented. A'ja Wilson is one of the greatest basketball players on the planet. Paige Bueckers entered the league with legitimate generational hype. Sabrina Ionescu has built herself into one of the most recognizable basketball names in America. These are real players with real accomplishments and real fan bases. This conversation is not about disrespecting them. This conversation is about something completely different. This conversation is about impact, about attention, about the ability to move culture and force people who would otherwise ignore women's basketball to suddenly stop everything and pay attention. And those are two completely separate conversations that the league keeps trying to merge together in a way that serves their narrative but ignores the data entirely. Marketability is not about who has the prettiest jump shot. It is not about who has the most championship rings. It is about who commands attention. It is about whose name makes casual sports fans stop scrolling. It is about whose games force television executives to completely rearrange their broadcast schedules. It is about who makes sponsors reach for their checkbooks without hesitation. And right now, there is nobody in women's basketball who does any of those things at the level Caitlin Clark does. Nobody. And it is not particularly close. The numbers tell this story better than any opinion ever could. Games featuring Indiana Fever immediately became some of the most watched broadcasts in the entire history of the WNBA.
From 2008, Candace Parker's rookie season, her first game of her rookie year, hit 1 million views. Since then, they didn't sniff a 1 million viewed game until Caitlin Clark's season opener. Rookie year. They went 16 years not sniffing a 1 million viewed game.
Ticket prices on the secondary market exploded every single time Indiana came to town. Entire arenas in cities around the country sold out weeks in advance just for the chance to watch her play live. Her jersey dominated league merchandise sales. Her highlights dominated every major sports platform simultaneously. Her name dominated sports television coverage to a degree that made everything else feel secondary. And then the sponsors arrived. Because companies do not care about narratives. Companies do not care about which player the league wants to promote. Companies care about one thing and one thing only: return on investment. They care about visibility. They care about reach. They care about which athlete makes their product feel relevant to the largest possible audience. And Caitlin Clark delivered all three at a level women's sports had never seen before. Drop a like right now if you think the numbers make it impossible to honestly rank anyone above Clark in marketability, because the data is right there for everyone to see. Suddenly, the WNBA was not just a basketball league anymore. It became a non-stop national conversation that crossed over into mainstream culture in a way the league had been desperately chasing for 30 years. And that is precisely where the real controversy began to ignite. Because while fans were naturally and organically gravitating toward Caitlin Clark with their clicks, their ticket purchases, their television remotes, and their genuine emotional investment, many people began feeling that the media was actively trying to construct a completely different story. Instead of celebrating the obvious and historic explosion of popularity surrounding Clark, critics believed the league kept working overtime to artificially spread the spotlight equally across multiple players, regardless of what the actual audience engagement numbers were showing in real time. And fans began recognizing that effort for exactly what it was: forced, manufactured, dishonest. Every debate turned into chaos. Every ranking became a war zone. Every sports show turned into yet another exhausting argument about Caitlin Clark. And the more people argued, and the more the league tried to push back against the organic wave of attention surrounding her, the bigger she became. Because outrage creates engagement. Engagement creates attention. And attention creates stars at a speed that no marketing department on Earth can manufacture artificially. The people trying hardest to downplay Caitlin Clark may have accidentally made her the most talked about figure in women's sports history. Comment right now and tell me, do you think the WNBA is trying to shape the narrative, or are they genuinely trying to grow multiple stars? I want to read your honest opinion. Fans immediately started pulling data after the ranking dropped. Attendance figures, viewership numbers, social media analytics, merchandise sales, Google search trends, highlight view counts. And the deeper people looked, even casual sports fans who had barely watched a WNBA game before Clark arrived were confused by the ranking. Because from the outside looking in, Caitlin Clark was everywhere simultaneously. SportsCenter, Nike commercials, podcast discussions, celebrity social media posts, arena sellouts, the most decorated college basketball career in the history of the sport. You genuinely could not escape the Caitlin Clark conversation, even if you actively tried to avoid it. And that universal unavoidability is precisely what made the ranking feel so dishonest to so many people. Because you cannot be everywhere, drive everything, transform everything, and then be told by your own league that someone else is more marketable than you. Fans do not accept that kind of disconnect between reality and official narrative. They never have. And they made that rejection loudly and publicly and immediately. That is when the word agenda started appearing in every comment section. Fans began openly accusing the league of trying to manufacture stars through official rankings and media narratives, instead of simply allowing the audience to naturally decide who the face of the league should be through their own organic attention and investment. And whether that specific criticism is entirely fair or partially unfair, one thing is completely undeniable. The trust between significant portions of the WNBA fan base and the league office has been visibly and measurably damaged. And damaged trust in sports is extraordinarily difficult to rebuild, because Caitlin Clark represents something much larger to millions of viewers than simply a basketball player with impressive statistics. For some fans, she represents the future of women's basketball and proof that the sport can compete for mainstream attention at the highest level. For others, she represents a sports media machine that reflexively tries to tear down any star who becomes too big to fit neatly into an existing narrative. And for millions more, she simply represents that electric feeling that sports fans spend their entire lives chasing, that feeling when a player arrives and suddenly makes an entire league feel genuinely important again. You cannot fake that feeling. You cannot manufacture it. You cannot rank it away. Fans either feel it or they do not. And right now, millions of people around the world clearly feel it every single time Caitlin Clark steps onto a basketball court. Michael Jordan did this for the NBA. Tiger Woods did this for golf. Conor McGregor did this for the UFC. One crossover star with mainstream cultural appeal can completely transform an entire sports business model, its television deals, its sponsorship landscape, and its place in the national conversation. And many fans believe with complete conviction that Caitlin Clark is doing exactly that for the WNBA right now, whether the league wants to officially acknowledge it or not. Which is precisely why these rankings create explosions of outrage that spread far beyond traditional sports audiences. Because when millions of fans watch someone generate historic and measurable attention and then see that person consistently pushed down in official conversations, they stop trusting the source doing the pushing. And once that trust disappears, every future ranking, every future narrative, every future attempt to shape the conversation becomes immediately suspect. That is exactly where the WNBA finds itself tonight. Caught between the legitimate desire to grow multiple stars and build a league that does not depend entirely on one player, and the uncomfortable reality that one player is currently driving more measurable attention than everyone else in the league combined. And that reality makes powerful people deeply uncomfortable because it creates a dependency that feels dangerous for long-term league stability. But sports fans do not think about long-term league stability. Sports fans think about what they feel when they turn on the television. And right now, an enormous and growing portion of the sports world feels something specific when Caitlin Clark plays basketball. Something real. Something organic. Something that no ranking list released by any league office has the power to diminish. Subscribe right now and hit the notification bell because this conversation is only getting louder from here. Every game is content. Every quote is debate fuel. Every ranking is war. And we are going to be here covering every single explosive moment of it. Because love her or hate her, Caitlin Clark has already permanently changed the WNBA. The business knows it. The sponsors know it. The television networks know it. The sold-out arenas know it. The record-breaking ratings know it. And deep down, even the people releasing these rankings know it too. The only question left is how long before everyone finally admits it out loud. Drop your honest answer in the comments right now. Is the WNBA making a historic mistake by not fully embracing what Caitlin Clark has built? Or does the league have a responsibility to grow beyond one single star? Every opinion gets read. Like this video if you believe the data tells a story the league cannot keep ignoring. And share this video because this is the conversation that the mainstream sports media does not want trending right now.